I remember my second year in college, about 2 years ago. I was 20 years old, and I remember how the world felt so big and brimming with possibilities, and I felt so excited to try it all, to be and do and learn anything, and I knew that I could come out of it okay in the end, somehow. Fast forward 2 years, and here I am, graduated, and all that possibility that felt exciting in school still feels exciting some days, but most of the time feels really overwhelming as a new graduate. I mean, when the whole world opens up to you, when there's so many different pathways that you can take, yes, that is exciting in some ways, but it's also really uncertain and scary and confusing. And honestly, most days I feel really insecure about my career. Like, I don't know what step to take next, and I feel lost because I can't see the path forward. I don't know where I'm going, and I don't even know where I want to go next. It's so different from school because there are no longer any requirements to hit or guidelines to follow. Your entire life is completely up to you. And I know some of you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Because there are tried and tested routes after school as well, right? Like, a lot of people just get married, they settle down, they find a stable job, they BTO or get a house, and they work until retirement at 65. But I'm not sure that that's what I even want to do. There are just so many other ways that life could possibly unfold, like going abroad for work or taking a sabbatical or retiring early, that I don't want to limit myself to the path and the life of least resistance. So then I asked myself, what's the next step to take from here? I guess then the answer is to try and figure out what I even want in the first place, which would require a lot of experimentation and trying out different paths to see what actually matters to me and what I actually want to do. But then the experimentation part is scary also, because I worry that with every decision I make, I'm potentially closing off other opportunities elsewhere. That range of possibilities is what is so paralyzing to me. It's truly analysis paralysis. And honestly, my coping strategy for this hasn't been helpful at all. I spent an unhealthy number of hours scrolling LinkedIn, searching job opportunities all around the world, and also, stalking different people, some people that I haven't even met, and trying to analyze like the different career trajectories they took. And this doesn't help at all, because all around me, there are all these people who've gone down different paths, all of which I would be very willing to try. So I've definitely been feeling a lot of FOMO. Also, obviously, comparison is a real thing. Comparisonitis is something else that I'm learning to cope with. And the weird thing is, I'm not even comparing myself to my peers, but I'm comparing myself to people who are older than me or who have started working for a couple of years already. I'm not even envious of their jobs or their accomplishments, but more of their seeming certainty about where they're going or what they want in life. And I know that everyone seems more put together they are, whether it's on LinkedIn or other forms of social media. But it's just so easy as a fresh grad to look at other people who've gone before you and think, how do they do that? Like, how do they plan their career trajectory so well? Yeah, I think I'm learning to deal with that. I'm learning to find ways to get around the feelings of FOMO and comparison by reaching out to people and actually talking to them, and through that process realizing that they actually didn't and don't have it all figured out. It just seems that way on a platform like LinkedIn. Also, just reminding myself all the things that I've been reminding myself since college, which is trust your life will unfold the way it is meant to, have faith in serendipity, and embrace and lean into the uncertainty. It's strange because all of these things were so much easier to do when I was still in college. I'm pretty sure it's because at the end of the day, I knew my end goal, right? Which was to get to graduation, to get my degree. I've come to realize after leaving school that there's a lot of comfort in being able to call yourself a student. It defines your role in this world very specifically and very clearly. And the thing is that when you graduate, it doesn't only take away your end goal, but it also strips away all the other identities that you had as a student. When you're no longer a student, you don't have any requirements to hit, and your entire career life is up to you to plan and steer. Your friend groups in college may move away or, start working, becoming really busy. and you guys may not keep in touch or hang out a lot less. Your family starts to treat you like an adult, which often means that you might have to support them emotionally or financially in ways that you didn't have to before. And of course, the extracurriculars that you did in school, which might have also been a big part of your identity, no longer exist, right? And you have to find other things that bring you joy. In fact, you might not even feel like you have time when you start working to engage in other hobbies outside of work. Everything changes, and maybe not so drastically, it may happen incrementally, but everything does change, and it takes time to adjust to these changes. The temptation then is to make your entire life about work, to define yourself and build a new identity around what you do, which is probably why I've been scrolling LinkedIn so much, trying to find this perfect job, a perfect place to strive towards, a place and a job that checks all the boxes. But I guess no such place exists. So I've been learning to build multiple identities again, like by exploring new interests. Like, every weekend I've been volunteering at a farm and going back to old ones like art or even learning languages. But I really only was able to do all of this after I gave myself like a couple of months out of school to really adjust to the new routine of being at work and no longer having the structure of school. Establishing a new routine for myself has been so vital for this process of eventually going on to find things outside of work that bring me joy. I think I'm in a much better place now, because even though I know I will always search for jobs that feel innately meaningful to me, at least I don't attach all of my self-worth and all of the happiness that I derive from life to work, which is really just one aspect of my very rich life. But then again, it's a very slow process. There are some days when the sense of comparisonitis and directionlessness hits really hard. And these days, I can't even go by without comparing my YouTube channel to other people's YouTube channels. And on those days, I feel extra bad because not only do I not know where my career is headed, I also don't know where my YouTube channel is headed and what type of content I'm trying to make, what type of creator I'm trying to become. On those days, I feel like I don't even know who I am. So how am I supposed to even begin sharing my story? But then there are other days that I'm much kinder to myself. And I remember that I'm very grateful to be where I am right now in life. There are days where I remember that life is short, but not that short. And I still have time yet to explore everything that I want to explore. I wanted to be clear that I feel extremely lucky to have my health, to have a job, to have no student loans, and I am by no means complaining about where I am in life right now. But there are also some days where I have doubts and I have worries. And I was thinking about it and I realized that graduating is maybe the biggest life transition that I've had to go through so far in my life. So I wanted to have a space to acknowledge that, to feel my feelings, express them, and maybe share them with any of you who might be going through the same thing. Let me just end off this very casual video diary entry with a quote that I read recently that I really like and I try to hold close whenever I feel these feelings. What a wonderful thought it is that some of the best days of our lives haven't even been lived yet.